Alrighty, folks, we are into the game. The map is going to be merry-go-round. It is game number 1, but it is the winner's match of Group D of the ASL Prime League. Spawning in the bottom left, well, bottom of merry-go-round is going to be the Axiom representative, the Blue Terran. It is Ryung. Oh, we have intros. Hey.
Do we? Okay, so we don't say the name now.
Alright guys, let's do it up again. Spawning in the bottom of merry-go-round, representing Axiom, it is...
Axiom Ryung!
Pause.
And how long am I meant to wait? Is it 10 seconds? Just go? Cool. Alright, and his opponent in the 2 o'clock spawn, in the yellow, and representing Aya and Korea, is Arthur teamless?
I don't know, I believe so.
Okay. I just momentarily got stuck there. I was amazed. Well, it's your Protoss player.
Arthur!
You know, Aya, Korea, that's like Korea.
Yeah, Korea.
But we all know Arthur to be a very aggressive Protoss player in both of these in all of his matchups. But I mean, let's see what Ryung does here, as he does go for the command center first, actually, into a double Rax. And I wonder if these players are kind of familiar with each other and how they play. I'm not exactly sure how Ryung plays TVP though, to be honest.
No, I've never seen it, certainly. But I look forward to learning from him.
Yep.
We've seen a few different styles already. We already saw a Terran play versus Protoss with a mech style that proved to be extremely effective. So at this point, I'm willing to be surprised.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few awesome matches so far. It was Lilikanin, not yesterday, but on Wednesday, who showed us that mech is viable, apparently.
Yep, apparently.
PvP, yeah. Some really cool games.
Seems.
But Arthur, right? What is he doing here? What is he doing? Double gas. So I assume he's not going for a quick expansion just yet. And there we go, the Twilight Council. And if I had $1 right now to bet, I would assume that it would be a Blink. But I don't know. What do you think about Blink?
You might be right. On this map, it's not too bad. It's got a certain amount of surface area, but it's not like we're not looking at heavy rain.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. It's probably fine. It's got about the same amount as like Sejong or something, but then Sejong was required a lot more maneuvering around the base in the Protoss, which can buy Terran some time, and it's still considered a good map for Blink. But here the Terran has a much shorter path to move as well. There's only the low ground is very closely aligned to the high ground area. That's the only accessible area for Blink. So I'm not sure if this is going to be too effective, but it's going to depend obviously on whether Ryung scouts it and is ready. Because if he doesn't have those bunkers, if he doesn't have things like Widow Mines and tanks on the way to help deal with this, then he might just end up dropping off.
Well, he did do a scan inside of the main of Arthur, and he saw 2 additional gateways being warped in, and I think he also scanned the location of the Nexus, so he knows that there's no base here. And now we see that there are more bunkers coming on the way, but is it going to be enough? There's only 1 Marine right here, but no, never mind. He's just kind of in the middle, assuming that maybe it could be Oracle, but he's preparing for the worst with these bunkers.
I think he knows well enough. It'll be pretty late for an Oracle timing, and there's no expansion, so an Oracle should definitely have hit by now. In addition to that, he saw 3 gates building, and knows there has to be another one. So if you
put
see
that bunker
gates,
up in the main too, yeah.
Yeah, he's got that bunker up in the main, exactly. So I'm pretty sure that he's worked out that it's Blink, and he's absolutely right. It is going to be Blink. So Ryung is more than prepared for this, but sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes you just see someone, a Protoss player, do a Blink play, and they micro it so perfectly that it doesn't matter that the Terran scout it.
But I love what he did here too. He went into double racks after it. Well, he actually opened up with double racks and then added an additional 1. So he's going to be perfectly fine if he just continues to pump out units. You know, he just needs to make sure these bunkers do not go down, and then Arthur doesn't get a free blink in and a snipe on that bunker in the main. But I think relatively this is the best situation that he could be in. He didn't rush out any tech. He's just straight units at the moment, and he opened up with the CC first. So, you know,
that is always nice.
Able to get nice and healthy before this.
That is a lot of stalkers already. Arthur, though, look at that.
Yeah.
How many stalkers is there? And there's Oh, nice time warp use as well. The Stalker's deciding that they're just not going to move up there. They baited most of the bio down to the low ground, and I was kind of expecting a blink up there.
Yeah, I think he's thinking. He's making Ryung make a decision where to go, and is trying to sneak in there and just snipe off at least any of the bunkers, because if he's able to get one of those bunkers, then that's the location that he's probably going to abuse the most. But I mean, the longer this goes on, I think it's going to be okay for Ryung, because he is getting up that star port. His stim is about to finish.
Yeah, and his Marauder count grows all the time, but this bunker at the front does go down, not losing any more bio to it, but it needs reaction. And I think you're right. I think Arthur's going to immediately try and push up here as soon as possible and do as much damage as quickly as can be done.
Yeah, this is still really scary for Ryung. Stim is done, but the medevacs are not out just yet. And Arthur, he has a really scary amount of stalkers right now. But here he goes.
Yeah, he's pushing forwards, blinking back these stalkers really nicely, but Ryung's stim finished nicely, and he got the mothership core, which is so critical in this kind of push. Losing that mothership core means no high ground vision for Arthur, so he has to push up the ramp. Now Ryung can always be in the right place, and he is currently in the right place, attacking every stalker that tries to move up, but I think that might... Oh, a little bit of an overextension.
Yeah, those medevacs need to come out immediately, as those a lot of that bio is very low. A Widowmine here is actually really nice, because there is not going to be any detection at all. I think he's a very long way away from detection, Arthur is. But this is looking pretty good. You know, he's stabilized for a bit, but those stalkers are coming in for round number 2.
They are, and if the second Widow Mine goes off successfully, it will take off all the shields of any stalkers it catches in its splash, and some it might even kill. Like, if that stalker with 3 hit points and full shield takes any damage, then that Widow Mine's killing it.
Yep.
That's just the one closest. Oh, I felt like he was trying to bait that, but not quite. The bio forces of Ryung just aren't that massive, is the thing. He doesn't have that much army.
He doesn't, but he does have the medevac, so this low health Marauder is going to finally get healed up. He's been waiting for that. He called it. Nice micro there from Arthur, baiting out the Widowmine shot and then blinking away right before it explodes, taking 0 damage. But another bunker is going up for Ryung on the right side, but it is not going to be in time, I don't think, as it does get focus fired by the stalkers. Canceled right in time.
Yeah, it's good to get away with that, but he did lose the SCV, unfortunately. But as you said, with that CC first opening, he has kind of got a fairly decent worker count just in the first place.
Yep, that's a lot of stalkers, man. And even Zealots are getting warped in. A Sentry is building up energy, so for that final death push, he will be able to force field the bunker. Oh, Arthur, I'm going to lose a...
Yeah, I think that's what scares me more than anything. What scares me more than anything is the sentries, because as soon as we see Ryung try and push forward, I think he's going to get force fielded against a lot of zealots, and because he's lost a lot to a powerful stalker push earlier on, he might end up on the wrong end of this. Yeah. Oh, so far, yeah, there are those force fields, but I think Ryung might still be able to kite back against those. The zealots have all melted away. Widowmines haven't really done that much to the Protoss forces, but a lot of stalkers went down in that.
Yep, Mothership Core also goes down once again. Ryung has +1 here, and he's done pretty well there. He lost a lot of SCVs, though. Keep that in mind. 27 have already been killed, and this is it. Here come the bio, and they're trying to do this right now, but there's not that many stalkers left in.
Ryung
holds. Takes game number 1 in this best of 3 series. He's actually down 1 game.
It's nearly the same thing.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Arthur!
He's up 1 game in the loss department is what I meant to say.
Smoothly covered.
Yeah.
They will never see that coming.
Not at all. You know what else someone may never see coming is this probe. It's in the bottom portion of Ryung's base.
Yeah, that is very sneakily hidden, and I don't know if Ryung's going to check for that.
I wonder. You know, especially like this is like the past time where you would be checking for a 2-gate. So maybe over time he'll just like be putting his supply depots around and then kind of just get a glimpse of that. But it's not typically a place you check after, you know, like...
No.
With the 3-minute, so.
No, exactly. It's not a particularly common thing to attempt to look for. And something else I'm looking at this this Reaper, and he knows where Arthur is, but he hasn't actually been to see what he's doing. He knows he's there because he's not in the bottom.
Okay, yep. You're right.
So
yeah.
this Reaper, he's going for a walk. He's just going to check to see if maybe they're looking for proxy stargates, because that path takes him around the back of the mineral lines and similar. Yeah, up into that little ledge as well. So yeah, Ryung is making sure he's not being cheesed. He's been hurt before, I feel, possibly by Arthur, and he's just making really sure
That it doesn't go that way, yeah. And you know what? That probe got wrecked in the base of Ryung. Got taken out by a few Marines, scouting the base out, and very nice, covering your bases, making sure that nothing is hidden in there. But, there's a next, I believe it was a Gateway Core Nexus from Arthur. So
yeah, gateway opening.
Okay. Really nice, then. Gonna see potentially some kind of macro game out of Arthur, because he does drop the robotics facility.
Yeah, that's what it says to me, certainly. Getting that robo is sometimes just a defense against Widow Mines, and sometimes shows that you're intending to go fully into a macro style. On a map like this, macro is favored, so Arthur can do whatever he likes, but it is worth remembering that Protoss like big maps, because Warpgate doesn't care how far away it has to travel, but everyone else has a travel time.
Yeah, and this is cross position as well, so definitely the best situation, I would assume, for Arthur at the moment. And this Reaper even staying alive, but it still hasn't gotten into the main of Arthur, so Ryung doesn't know what Arthur's doing at all. Maybe saving a scan at some point, but I mean, at least he knows about the expansion, so he's not getting that one base blink again. But I mean, there still could be aggressive plays that could come off of this very early Nexus. It doesn't mean that he's gonna go for a macro game. You never know here, because the gases have already been taken at that base. I wonder what we're gonna see here. No Robo Bay, no Twilight just yet.
Getting a Forge as well, and actually that Reaper seeing most of it in the main base. Just a little run by, but I generally like what both players are doing. Going for those quick Colossi that Arthur seems to be aiming for is a nice strategy to deal with any timing pushes that Terran might try and pull on you in the kind of early to mid game, and there are a decent amount of forces out for Ryung already. And in fact, a little drop. Coming in.
Two Widow Mines are coming in.
Uh-oh.
And there's no observer, but there is an observer popping soon. Is Arthur going to be able to see this? He does.
Yeah, he's got away.
Yep.
He got away with that. Unborrow, and the other one, not even in the main.
Yeah, he's just kind of hesitating. And you know what I like? I really like this. He's not going all in with it at all. He's just saying, all right, I'm just going to scare you. Make sure that you can't mine. The damage has already been done, even though it only did kill one, and forcing a photon overcharge. Although the Mothership Core was at full energy, so it's not the worst thing for Arthur here.
And the temptation is always, when you're a Protoss, once the mine's gone off, the temptation is always to send the workers back and go, okay, well, in that case, I guess I'll just mine for 35 seconds and then move away. But if you get that wrong, you lose a lot of workers.
I think a lot is an understatement. I have seen so many probes get taken out by that one little unit there. Especially when you send them over and they're just stacking. Oh, it can be pretty ugly. But no, Arthur taking the safe route. He made the photon overcharge, had the observer coming out, and that's very good too. Using that second, the second round of unit from the Robo to be another observer for that safety, because the other one is scouting at the moment, I believe.
I thought that was a weird place to drop for Ryung, where he just drifted into the main, put down a Widow Mine, and then picked it back up and flew out again.
I think he's just saying, hey, I'm here.
Just
kind of making it there. Yep.
And getting that scout off on his opponent as well as always. Oh, not actually sending it in yet. There we go, he's thinking about it. I think he's going to run out of time.
I know, it needs to. Come on, you only have one job in life, and that's it. Forever forgotten.
Yeah. Well, this has been a fairly passive opening compared to what we're used to. Like, we've seen so much aggressive stuff over the first couple of days.
I know.
These guys not attack each other for the first 11 minutes really at all. It's kind of weird.
I know. It's like, wait a minute. I don't know. I guess we actually get to talk about potential stuff that is happening instead of what is just in front of our eyes and just action, But
yeah.
I mean, let's look at the board now, right? We got Blink on the way from Arthur. So he's going in for that Blink first, dropping that Twilight, which will also allow him to get that +1, the +2 rather, after that +1 does finish. But Ryung is taking a third of his own, and he's just going for that macro play as well. And I don't know, if he does see this timing, is this really a good map you can pull the boys on? Can you get a good...
It's a long walk. It is a long walk for them.
It is.
I don't know. I think they could get away with it a little bit. Oh, nice. The scouting hallucination does catch sight of Ryung's forces moving out on the map. So Arthur is pretty aware of that. And I love the positioning of Arthur's army as well, because he can see out the front of his base. And that means that his army can be wherever it needs to be. It can be sat right at the back, because if anything comes through the front, he'll know and he'll be able to move that away. And if anything comes from the back, his army's in the right place already.
Exactly.
He is a smart man.
He is, and he's making it work. Let's see what he does, though. Not taking... Oh, he is going for the third. And there's a Marine there as well, so he's going to be able to see the third timing. And that is, that can trigger sometimes. You never want to pull the boys against a 2-base Protoss, because if you're on 3 bases, why do you even need to force that? That's the position that he would love to be in. So taking this third might trigger something like that, as he does have vision on everything here so far.
Yeah. Arthur's got 4 Colossi, though. That is so many to have at this point in the... No, actually, no. It feels like it's 3 minutes earlier than it is, because this is when the Terran moves out normally. Terran doesn't attack at just around 10 minutes. It's actually 13 and a half minutes.
13 already, yeah. This is a very, like you said, passive. And I mean, I guess Deadwing is a map that promotes that kind of playstyle, but it's interesting to see that we haven't seen that from both players. Arthur, a player that we always think, oh, he's going to go kill you, right, before you get going, but... He saw that didn't work out for him in game number 1.
Yeah, it's really unusual to see a game like this, though. And in general, I kind of like what Arthur's gone for with Blink Colossus, but I'm not sure if he's got the tanking on the ground at the moment. And considering the forces of Ryung contain very few Widow Mines, the bio isn't really mixing in Widow Mines that much, it's just bio with Vikings. He could definitely afford to have a more concentrated Zealot composition, which is generally better than Stalkers, and therefore that's probably what that charge is being researched for, why he's getting the armor upgrades before attack, even when he's making Colossi. And or maybe he's forgotten he's got a second forge. It might be that as well.
That could be the case. Does he? Oh, he does have 2 forges, and there he goes. Chrono boosting up that attack upgrade. And I like it. He got the Stalkers out first in order to kind of deter drops, and now he's gonna be able to start warping in the Zealots just to be that filler for the army and the tanking, as he does stay safe on these 3 bases. But Young has been on 3 bases for a bit, and he's about to max out left.
Oh, he's left the Terran completely alone, maxes out on the nice army composition at about 15-ish minutes, but doesn't have the upgrades necessarily. If we look, the upgrades of Ryung are far behind those of his opponent, even when Arthur doesn't have the fastest upgrades in the world. Like, he can be on +2 by this point.
Yeah, I agree. +2 attack, though, is going to be ahead for Ryung, but his armor is the one that is lagging behind. And this is a bit... like just a tango, right? It's like, do I attack in or what? I can't really drop. The observer placement is pig baby status right now here for Arthur, as he does have everything here. He can see the army of Young moving in. There's no SCVs here at all. It's just going to be straight bio. And Arthur is in a nice defensive position, as he did take this base here instead of the one that is more forward and more enticing to take, instead of, if you don't want to break down those rocks.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that now. I guess that's a pretty smart move, but on Arthur's part, I wouldn't naturally go for this base, but it does make a lot of sense based on what you're saying. Oh, killing off
big
this
Zealot warping also, by the way, at the 3rd of Ryung. But,
Zealot's in the 3rd, but there's an army in the 3rd of Arthur, and a massive EMP went down, taking out most of the energy on.